forward to Gloria Douglas. That one's broken up. But Virginia's so good at winning the ball back right away. And here they go, Douglas. Nice cutback move, double teamed on that far side, and will lose possession.
And Maryland has to do a good job, especially early on, of getting support. Can they get cover from that second player and help them out? And the other thing is Virginia's so mobile that we've got to really look to see if Maryland can be able to track players, keep them in front, and not get combined around.
Colaprico trying to switch fields, broken up. And you saw the burst of speed from Douglas. She's got her head up looking. The overlapping run is given. Now inside. Nice possession right now. Steinlage trying to get it on this near side, and that's broken up again. So Maryland looks to counter. And the goals that Virginia has given up in the last 3 games on the road have been some counterattackings, maybe some mistakes in the back. They've responded well and come back to win those games, but something the head coach Steve Swanson said that he's hoping they're not giving up those early goals.
Yeah, and I think some of it's come off of the scrum that ensues after a corner kick. You know, once again, Duke was able to get in a couple, one off of a little cross, one off of a rebound off of a corner kick. And so I think they're going to try and limit Maryland. You know, Haley Brock is very good in the air. Sade Pratt may come up for that. And so if they can limit Maryland's opportunities, they should do well.
Norbo to Doniak. Doniak has it on the right, inside the area. Tries to get the rollback pass, and again, Maryland defense up to the challenge so far. Steiff, the senior right back, making her 75th career start. Better possession now, looking for that through ball. This one behind the defense, nicely by Morgan Bryan. This service much better as we have our first corner of the game. Nice searching through ball behind that Maryland defense.
Yeah, and Maryland's got to get organized, and they really also have to watch that backside. You know, I think Sade Pratt and Shannon Collins have to communicate and get some help from those outside backs to come in and find their marks, and also get some help from the midfield.
Big win that Virginia had over Duke. 2 of the 3 goals were through balls just like that. Broke down the defense. First corner of the game. Swinger 8 yards out front. And Virginia is there, cannot get it on frame. John Morgan in his 2nd year as head coach here for Maryland after 5 years as an assistant. High hopes for this Maryland side. Like many college coaches, he's had the long route to get here. After finishing his playing career at Roland College, went on to coach a little bit, and he's been all over, hasn't he?
Yeah, and see it, sort of not a great shot right there, but you know, in talking about John, he's done it all. He was a volunteer assistant while he was coaching. He was a volunteer assistant at Rutgers while he was coaching for PDA. I just, you know, talked to him about how the fact this is his first fall where he's not working with a club team, but he's worked club, he's been a volunteer from Rutgers, went to Ohio State, and then really came in and I think was a huge part of Maryland's turnaround. He's a fantastic recruiter, a smart mind, really sees the game well, and so it's great that he's had this opportunity now to be a head coach.
A lot of what he did in his 2 years at Ohio State is that recruiting piece that's such a huge element. Trying to get the best players, obviously, is a good place to start when you're building a team, as we have a delayed offside.
And his team, we look at them, there's a lot of returning players, but you also have a lot of sophomores, and so they're still young. They're still looking to find somebody who can be a leader. Megan Gibbons, who is on the ball as a senior, she's a great leader on the field, but she doesn't have as much of the voice as they need sometimes, and so he's really calling on her to be more of a vocal leader for them and step up and really help them, you know, find their stride and find what their that oomph that they need when they go down a goal.
Maryland now, that's a dangerous giveaway as the Cavaliers look to counter. Steiff in that right back position, pushing forward. Didn't get enough on that cross. as Doniak was making her run. Mackenzie Doniak, who leads the ACC in scoring, 9 goals, 5 assists for 23 points. She will be watched very closely by that back line. Again, when this Virginia team off to a fantastic start. You look at the wins, the 7 wins, they've outscored their competition 28-3 in those games. It's not like football, right, where you're playing the cupcake teams early on. These are big-time teams that they're winning. Win over Penn State, wins over Santa Clara, both 2 top 10 teams. They're destroying some great teams in this first 10 games of the season.
And I think the statistic you want to look at is not necessarily the goals that they've been scoring, but also the fact that they've come behind 4 times to win. They were down 2 goals last week to a very good Duke team, and were able to come back in the second half and put them away 3-2. So it's not just that they're scoring goals, it's the fact that they know that they're going to score goals, and they're confident whether they go down a goal or even down 2 goals.
It's one thing to come back at home, but when you're doing it on the road in conference play, that's a lot of confidence boost for your team at the midpoint of the season. Oh, look at this. Ball sneaked by. Didn't think it would get there. Spivey, had she continued her run, would have been in alone. Not many mistakes there, but Fisher looked like she just maybe took her eye off the ball for a second, went right past.
And those are the little things, that make a difference. And I think what Maryland's looking to do is, can they get a goal on a counterattack? Can they get a goal when Virginia has a little mistake and they're able to pounce on it? And so that's probably what we're going to see in terms of them getting in to score. When you're so organized, it's just the ability to pounce on a tiny mistake that's going to make the difference.
Good decision by Doniak to wait for help. Some possession now. Menchel. Colaprico. Got some speed. 2 defenders on her. And defended nicely out for the throw-in. And Colaprico could take players on. The junior's got 3 goals, 4 assists. 2 of her 3 goals this season came against Rutgers, but defended nicely on that near side.
Yeah, she's definitely a player that can play both sides of the ball. Very good. She's kind of a tough kid for them.
Deflected right in front. Dangerous. And cleared out for the second corner. It's when you're thinking own goal. When you're coming back and you're trying to clear that dangerous cross in front of the area. So
and part of that's going to come from just the organization and their positioning. We see we want to keep the ball in front, the player in front. She got turned around a little there.
Crowd into it, second corner of the game. Virginia looking for their first goal right in front. Punched away nicely by Beanland's out. Another opportunity, that is wide of the net. Let's take a look at the corner.
And as it comes in, Beeland does a good job. She's able to punch it away. But Gloria Douglas is wide open on the back post, and it's not a bad shot there. Maryland, once again, just has to be a little quicker in finding the ball. And I think that's going to be a story we're going to hear a lot about. Can Sade Pratt be able to offer Gibbons support and really be aware of Doniak, Bryan, and Douglas and figure out if she's going to step with them or if she's going to drop off and let them turn and hopefully just keep them in front of her. And so I think that back line of Maryland is going to be the main story today.
Nice battle won that time by Sade Pratt, as Maryland not really giving a lot in the center of the field. Another slow roller back to Rochelle Beanlands. 39 saves on the season, 6-4 record with 3 shutouts. Stearns looked confident coming out there with the slow back pass. Baker. Change of speed, and she has got 4 defenders around her, but still has the pass. Look at this. 4 defenders there. Maryland completing the pass in the 18.
And that's a great ball into Gibbons.
Outswinger. We'd have to say for John Morgan's side, they've weathered the storm here early on and winning a lot of the 50-50 challenges at midfield. As I say that, Virginia comes the other way on a 4-on-4.
And they love that little cheeky slotted ball through a seam that Douglas can run onto or Doniak can run onto. And Maryland just has to do a good job of actually, we always talk about sometimes bumping the runner a little as they're trying to make that run. As Douglas comes across, Pratt, as Douglas comes across, can you just step in a little, give a little bump to throw off the timing of that, and that'll give Beelands a better opportunity.
Looks like that is exactly what Pratt did on the play moments ago, as she has looked solid in that center back position. Good win this time by Haley Brock. The cross in front, look at this. That's 2-on-4 attack as Maryland does not win the corner, but that's the kind of effort you're probably going to need from Haley Brock to get by this Virginia side.
And that's what she's most effective at, is when she's able to run on the ball, is when she's able to face up and go. And so I think Maryland's got to try and find her diagonal runs, her getting in a position where she can take someone on 1v1. But the other thing is Maryland's done a ton of defending, but they've got to get a better transition. You know, I mean, for her to be taking a player on where it's 1v3 in the box are just not good odds. And so we got to see Aubrey Baker get forward a little bit more. Can Berman get in?
Back and forth as Maryland picks up the loose ball. Barger let that one get too far in front, lost possession. And now Virginia will look to reload. They give it right back. Sloppy play from both sides here. Middle of the field. Barger now. Looking for options. There's the double team from Virginia. But again, Maryland quick to respond, wins it back. Sarah Fickner making her 5th start of the season in that defensive midfield position. Has some room in front. Splits the defense. On the left, thinks about a long shot, and that will be easily handled by Stearns.
Yeah, not a great effort to try and just get a ball in there, boost a little confidence, but can they also look to maybe switch that and play that ball to Megan Gibbons? Megan Gibbons on the outside was wide open. She was kind of half calling for it, but had a ton of room to move into if they would have found her.
I think she was waiting for the full calling. She's half calling. I'm not going to go to her. Not too sure over there. Let's see how sure Virginia is on this. Play on. A little bit of a call, but let it slide. The cutback and should be out for the 3rd corner of the game. Nice job. The official letting the play continue there with the foul as Virginia had the advantage. 3rd corner of the game. Virginia has won the challenge on each of the previous 2, but had not gotten anything on frame. Colaprico looking to add to her 4 assists on the season. High in the air, right in front. Virginia players there. Rifle shot, and it's saved and then off the post. Got just enough to deflect that to the far side, and Beanland saw it coming the whole way. Big save and hits the far post, but they're not done yet. Virginia, again, top of the 18. Another shot, she's there. Hesitate, Virginia taking a little too long for that shot. Douglas probably should have pulled the trigger the first time.
Yeah, she definitely needed to pull it as soon as she had it, and Maryland just has to get more organized on the transition out. You know, we see the corner kick here. Stanlage kind of gets a head on it. It goes to Gloria Douglas again. Great shot. I think it deflected off the post or maybe even the Virginia player. And then we see again on the transition, it's going to come in, and they're just not marking up. Douglas is wide open again, and they've got to do a better job of finding that backside player.
Yeah, you think a player like Douglas scores her first goal of the season, the game winner against Duke, has got some confidence playing now. Big save, though, from Beanlands as she deflected it. But here's another chance for Virginia. The rollback right in front, low line drive, and it was not on frame, but Virginia is knocking on the door right now. But Douglas probably needs that confidence to be able to pull the trigger the first time as she had some room.
And she's a kid who usually has been able to score big goals for him, but definitely has taken her time to get started this year. And so I think that Duke game was big for her to get on the board.
Fourth corner for the Cavaliers. This one right in front of Beanlands, who will handle that one. 5'9" sophomore from Ottawa, Ontario, controlling her penalty area. I talked about Maryland weathering the storm. They did for the first 10 minutes, but the storm is starting to brew right out in front there. The shot off the post. Visit the official NSCAA college scoreboard at topdrawersoccer.com for all your college score needs, along with the most up-to-date scores. Topdrawersoccer.com provides box score, match, team, and player statistics, video highlights, and game recaps of all the action around the country.
And we're looking here, and Sade Pratt is giving Doniak a lot of room. I know Maryland has possession, but I would even try and have her pinching in a little bit more. We see her in a better position now, but I think they've got to be very aware of Doniak and the fact that she is so mobile.
Yeah, a lot of switching up top. They're moving. You got the outside midfielders that are getting in the attack. Both Doniak, Douglas, and Bryan are all over the field here in the first half. Second foul of the game whistled against Maryland. Great piece of skill on the touch by Colaprico. Can they get her the assist on that? Another return pass. Danielle Colaprico takes it off the chest. 3 juggles to flick it past her defender, keep possession, and that is the kind of skill you'd expect from a top-ranked team in the country.
That's also the type of skill that you'd expect from a kid who grew up playing with guys who are always trying those crazy little things and aren't afraid to maybe show up a little bit and show off a little bit.
You saying guys show off a little bit?
I'm saying that guys
put
show
words
off
in your
a little
mouth.
bit.
All right. Love the skill, though. Again, when that first pass went to her, I thought it was going to go out of play. And
Yep.
she didn't panic, kept control. We talk about how important that first touch is, and took it off the chest and just kept it right there, and in a tight area was able to get around her player. There she is again. 3 players around her, did not panic, kept possession. Colaprico having a good game so far. Thought about the switch. And then out of play as Emily Sonnet really ran out of room, and we're set for our first sub of the game for Maryland. Amanda Gerlitz will check in. Junior from Hollis, New Hampshire.
And Gerlitz is a kid, we talked about John Morgan, how he's tweaked his formation. He's played some 4-3-3. He's played some 4-4-2. She's somebody that can play as an outside back for him or also an outside mid. So we'll see as he starts to go to his bench, some kids coming in some different positions, but they've played those throughout the season. Steve
Swanson looks like he will go to the bench next as well, as his super sub looks set to check in. Brittany Ratcliffe with 6 goals and 1 assist on the season should be coming in the next dead ball. Over the top, flag stays down, looked to be off. Looked like she might have been off by about a yard and a half. But in any event, Virginia got back, cleared it away from the foot of Haley Brock, out for Maryland's first corner of the game.
And that's where Brock's so dangerous. She took a little too much time on that because it was a bouncing ball. But if she's able to play that one time, I think, that's what we're seeing her be effective at is getting behind lines and taking players on.
7 in the area for Maryland. And they are all lined up on the penalty spot. As Virginia playing the zone defense right in front of Morgan Stearns. Tough to keep track of your marks on this one. They're all going a separate way, high in the air.
And not a great corner, kind of.
It really wasn't.
Really too high, especially when you've got players running in. Probably want to look to put that somewhere on the 6-yard line so it makes Stearns have to come out a little bit and a little more difficult.
Here is Brittany Ratcliffe, who comes in for Gloria Douglas.
And she's a quick, feisty little player. You know, Gloria Douglas, as we saw, was very good about getting open, struggled a little bit to get her shot off, whereas Brittany Radcliffe isn't afraid to shoot. Quick little player. We should see a lot of the same movement we saw earlier, but she's not afraid to pull that trigger.
First touch is a good one. Looking to get the ball back to Doniak. It's the 37th meeting between these two teams. And Virginia has dominated the matchup. 27 wins, 5 losses, and 4 ties, including a perfect 13 wins and no losses here at home. As Virginia again goes to the bench. Alexis Schaffer comes in.
And I like Alexis Schaffer. She's a North Carolina kid. We had her with ODP for a few years, and she's just puts in hard work. She's quick. She's got a little bit of an attitude to her, and she's really hungry to score. So we'll probably see her if she's got the chance. She's going to shoot as quick as she can.
Colaprico steals it, picks her head up. Nice ball inside the area to Bryant. Morgan Bryant gets it on to the sub. Schaffer. The overlap from Stith. Stith with a nice touch. Can't complete the final pass, though. It made the hard part. Got around her player, picked her head up. Just couldn't put it where she wanted it.
Yeah, and just really overhit that ball. We saw Doniak was a little bit on the back post, but not at that depth. It's interesting. We've been talking about Doniak. We've talked about Colaprico. We haven't really been mentioning Morgan Bryan too much, though. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more from her as the game continues on, but she's definitely key for them to be successful today.
We found a lot of Morgans out there as well. 3 Morgans on the starting lineup, the Morgan Bryan, Morgan Stith, and Stearns. So when Steve yells out to his team, Morgan, 27% of his team might look over and look to respond. Popular name, I guess, 18 years ago. Good piece of defending. Another quick foul as Virginia picks up 2 quick ones. 19.5 to go here in the first half between the #1 ranked team in the country, Virginia Cavaliers, and Maryland Terrapins. Virginia perfect 10-0 on the season. Colaprico content with just clearing that one. Schaffer looking for the runs from the targets. Behind the defense, perfect ball, onside, flag is down, back post. I like the way she takes the shot the first time, but again, couldn't get it on the frame. But again, that through ball really is causing problems for Maryland.
Just a fantastic through ball in terms of the pace of the ball, in terms of the placement. It was bending a little, so it made it difficult for Beanlands to come out, but really made it so easy for Doniak, and Doniak just hit that wide. The goalkeeper was kind of cheated over, so she actually had that far post pretty open. But that's where Morgan Bryan is so dangerous, is her ability to just string those little balls through the back line.
Great decision. Bryan just had her head up, saw the opening behind the defense and put it exactly where it needed to be. Probably should have picked up her 3rd assist on the season with that pass.
Yeah, fantastic ball.
Colaprico, another sweet touch to get away from a defender. The give and go. Back and forth. Doniak has got it. Players in the area. And out for the goal kick. Boy, you can't say enough about the play on the touchline from Colaprico. The skills she's got, the quick touches. That all starts with her, and really in a position where she couldn't even, really shouldn't have gotten out of that area. But the quick back heel to get away.
And it's that cheekiness that she has, that ability to surprise the defenders by using a different surface. That makes her so dangerous. But once again, we talk about Maryland. They've got to be able to mark up. They've got to be tighter inside of the 18. I think they're giving too much room to Virginia. And Virginia can wear a team down with all of that movement, having to chase players, having to get combined around and then find a mark. And so we see there's a little bit of a lull. Maryland's not necessarily working to get things quickly right now. I think they're trying to catch their breath a bit.
That's a great point. Just when the ball went out there was no one running to pick it up for the throw, and they're trying to regroup a little bit as Virginia is starting to find more openings, getting forward. The one shot that was saved and then deflected off the post. And then a couple good looks where the game could probably be 3 or 4-0 right now had they hit the target. Michelle Beanlands. Colaprico got some room in front. Again, 2 defenders around her. Strength on the ball to keep possession. Stith. Schaffer with a burst of speed to go forward. Waits for help. Strength on the ball here. She is again. In front, Virginia. Good look. Nice build up again. Can't get that final look as Beanlands was there. Virginia again with the pressure.
And now Maryland's got to start finding their marks right there as soon as that transition happens.
Or at least possess the ball a little bit here. Spivey thinking about going 1-on-4. Probably a good decision not to do.
And Maryland does look tired. You know, Lauren Berman, the sort of super freshman for Maryland, was trying to get forward, but she just looked like she was a little labored in her running trying to get there. They've got to be able, if they're going to get an opportunity off transition, they've got to be able to get those players forwards quicker.
Well, you called it with Schaffer there on that far side. They've been going to her since she's checked in. Another play on advantage. 3-on-3 for Virginia going the other way. Doniak and Bryan. Colaprico. Back in. And again, right in front. She started her celebration as Brittany Radcliffe kept it on frame that time. Kept it low, but just couldn't find a corner.
And we talk about the decision-making of the backs, and it's one of those things, are you going to step with the pressure or step with the ball and deny it? Or are you going to hang back and kind of give them a chance to turn and keep them in front? And I think because Maryland is so dangerous combining, I would like to see Pratt, I'd like to see Collins and Gibbons maybe try and deny the ball and be immediately on them versus giving them that chance and that space to turn and find somebody else.
Offside whistled on Doniak. Boy, and if you're John Morgan right now for Maryland, you're looking at the clock a little bit. I think you're hoping, hey, can you get into the break here with the score line as it is without giving up a goal, because Virginia has looked very dangerous in the last 10 minutes. And a lot of pressure on Beanlands in the nets.
And when Virginia scores, they score, and then they're like a shark in bloody water. They just keep attacking and attacking and attacking. And so I think if they give up one goal, there's a chance for it to open it up. And so Maryland going into this half 0-0 is key for them. And to go in up a goal would be even better.
Look at this. Might be an opportunity behind the defense. Here it is, right in front. And again, when you get an opportunity like that, Haley Brock was behind the defense. It all started with some good work on this near side by Riley Barger, keeping possession. We mentioned that 5 shots a game. There's one of them. So.
And she's tenacious. You saw she had pressure, but she just kept working, kept working, kept working. And I think that's one of the things that John Morgan likes about that sophomore is her tenacity, is her ability to just not give up.
We'd like to thank Choice Hotels, the official hotel sponsor of the NSCAA. Wherever the game takes you, Choice Hotels makes getting there easy. Visit choicesportstravel.com to book your hotel today. Scoreless here in Charlottesville, Virginia. If you're a Maryland fan, that's a good thing when you're playing the #1 ranked team in the country who's won 10 in a row. And you've lost 4 of your last 6, including that big loss against Notre Dame, 5-0. Keeping Virginia scoreless is a good thing. And again, Maryland's had their chances. The couple breakdowns in the Virginia back line where Maryland maybe could have capitalized. They've got to get this player more involved. Haley Brock, who was offside there, came back to get it. Here is Brock. Can she get around the defense with the speed? Chasing. In the 18s, got it on her right. And Brock now with 2 chances in the last couple minutes. Nice individual run. We've probably got to keep that low into the back post.
And you see she's doing a great job, but I think she almost needed to seal Shasta Fisher a little bit faster. She was kind of running with her, and I think when she had that first step in front, if she would have just angled her run a little bit more, she would have eliminated Fisher from the play at all.
Kristen McNabb and Amber Fry check in for Virginia.
And Colaprico's out of the game now, so that's going to be interesting because really she's been the one that started so much of their attack and been a little dangerous for them.
Natasha Natunkuoa comes in for Maryland. We talked about the keys for the game for Maryland, Sari, early on. How are they measuring up against those? What are they doing well, and what do they need to improve on?
Well, I think one of the things they talked about was not making those little mistakes. We see here.
Flag stays down again. Another close one in the area, burst to speed, and 3 defenders back there. Almost didn't even look worried, but that's twice now that Maryland has gotten behind that Virginia defense with a well-timed or let's call it a well-timed or a missed offsides call.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, that was Natasha Natunkuoa. I hope I didn't butcher that name right there. But that was one of those things where, they've had some opportunities. We saw a little bit of change in the back there. Shasta Fisher has kind of been around the ball a lot of times where Maryland's had some opportunities. So it'll be interesting to see if they start to try and go at her a little bit when they do get possession of the ball. But in terms of Maryland, they wanted to avoid little mistakes. We talked about Notre Dame. They had some breakdowns that cost them. And I think they've made some little mistakes, but it hasn't cost them. I think we need to see their back line be much more organized, aware of all that mobility of the Cavalier attack. And so can they organize those players? Can they organize the cover? In terms of decision-making, we've seen them go forward pretty well. I think they've done a good job of that. So overall, it's not a bad half for them. There's definitely some things he's going to talk to them about in the locker room. But, right now they're still in a good position.
Yeah, anything can happen in this game.
And if you think about it, in terms of managing Bryan and Doniak, Bryan, has had some great passes, but we haven't talked about her a ton. And Doniak's had a couple opportunities. But, I think they're doing all right.
They've got 3 in the area right now trying to get the service. Turnaround from Lauren Berman. She is double teamed there, is able to fight through it. Still Berman. In front, Maryland looking for their 3rd shot of the game. Brittany Ratcliffe giving chase. Megan Gibbon keeps control of it. Pratt. Berman. Nelson. Nice idea from Nelson. A little bit too much on the pass as that will roll out for the throw.
And I know Maryland's a little fatigued. They got a sub up top, but they've got to really, when they have that time on the ball, they've got to see some movement from their midfielders and forwards to demand it.
Corey Bryan and Kristen Schmidbauer check in for Maryland.
place number 2, Sarah Fishner, and also in number 5.
Shasta Fisher set to put the ball back into play. Just over 7 minutes to go. Good build up that time to Amber Fry, who's got some room. Brittany Ratcliffe. Fry probably had a little bit more room than she thought there. She turned around. Those runs that you're talking about behind the defense, the defenders followed. She had some room, picked her head up, but did not take advantage.
And Amber Fry is another name that we've heard a lot over the years. You know, she's a senior on the team, gives them leadership off the bench. She's, you know, according to Steve Swanson, she's probably playing the best soccer she has for them, so it's exciting for her to be able to come off the bench and give them a spark.
You get that kind of praise from Steve Swanson. That is a good thing. Just picked up his 300th career win last week, nearing the 200 win mark here at University of Virginia. One of the few coaches, or I take that back, the only coach that able to win multiple conference titles in different conferences. Ivy League championship with Dartmouth, Pac-10 and Stanford, and ACC wins here.
And a World Cup.
Well, you could throw that in if you want to. You can always add that. Last year was on the very short list of the top 10 FIFA Women's Coaches of the Year. I think the one thing he's looking for, the next step, the next thing to get would be that national championship. Foul here, maybe a nice foul as the counterattack was on. Double team around 2, almost around the 3rd, but Pratt was not having it. Virginia again with possession. Pace has slowed here in the last couple minutes. What can Virginia do here in the last 4? That was a ball to no one in particular.
And this is where Maryland's got to be smart. They're able to possess. The tempo sort of dropped off a little, but we've got to see some movement up top. We've got to see some players demand it.
You'd have to say that the slow tempo would probably help Maryland, I would say. You know, Virginia, they like the quick pace. They move the ball so well. They've got players that can exchange, get forward, attack out of the back. And when this pace is slowed a little bit, you're giving Maryland time to recover. They're catching their breath. They're getting better shape. Maryland's playing scrappy right now. They're not really giving an inch, challenging everything, which is what you would expect. Shannon Collins, smart decision to go back to the keeper.
And with 3 minutes left, we want to make sure for your Maryland that you don't make a little mistake that then puts you in with your head down going into half. And so if they can manage these next 3 minutes, keep possession, play smart.
Talk about the chippy and the scrappy play. That was another foul for Maryland.
And they've put Bryan on her butt a couple of times, but I think Morgan's the type of player where, you know, she's able to recover. And you see, you know, the little hand check here and there, a tug of the shirt. They're definitely trying to get under her skin and throw her off her game.
Barger. Stearns has not been very active in the back. Had a couple couple saves in the first half so far, but nothing too much of concern. That's not the giveaway you want, and here's the turn. This could be the opportunity now. Radcliffe, near side on the left, and maybe the fourth shot of the half right at Michelle Beanlands.
Definitely making it easy for her. And, you know, Radcliffe, we talked about not being afraid to shoot, but probably not the best shot right at her. Could she have put it on the ground, maybe made it a little more difficult?
Yeah, Fry was waiting there. It's the same area, really, too, where Fry picked that up, had a lot of the goal, and just could not find the target. Great one-touch passing here from Virginia. And after the play, another foul as the crowd is getting a little bit restless with the chippiness as Kristen Schmidbauer, senior from Woodbine, Maryland, whistled for the foul. Maryland's just going to dig their heels in here and hope to get out with the scoreless result.
And Maryland's done a good job of always having a body around Morgan Bryan. And, you know, there's a difference between being dirty and being chippy. And I think, you know, tugging a little, pulling a little is something that throws somebody off the game, you know, as long as you're not trying to hurt somebody.
There's a bad giveaway, though. Maybe the last opportunity of the half. Burst of speed. Radcliffe is there around one, around two. Has it on the left. Puts it in the back of the net. Boy, you kill almost the full 45 minutes. The super sub Radcliffe says, not so fast. Takes it individual effort as Radcliffe drives past two defenders.
And it's one of those things, there's 22 seconds left in the half. You've battled the entire half. You're about to get out. And just a breakdown like that hurts. I think John Morgan talked about against Notre Dame. They let up a goal with 6 seconds left, and they've got to be smarter about that.
What a half there. A game that Virginia controlled, but a burst of speed as Brittany Radcliffe picks up her 7th goal of the season, and it's a big one. Congratulations to Courtney Verlew, the forward from Stanford, who scored all 3 of the Cardinals' goals in the double overtime win over 22nd ranked Santa Clara this week. All 3 goals coming from the set piece, including a free kick in double overtime with 2 minutes to go from 22 yards out. Courtney Verlew, the Disney Soccer Player of the Week. And she is our Player of the Week. Right now we've got Steve Swanson, head coach of Virginia. And Coach, you probably had your speech ready at half thinking it's going to be scoreless, but then a great individual effort. What did you see there on that goal?
Yeah, that was a terrific effort by Brittany. I mean, she does exactly what we want her to do in that situation. You know, she comes in and gives us a spark, and I thought that could be the key moment in the game, actually, when it's said and done. You never know, a lot of soccer left, but that was certainly gives us a lift going in the locker room.
You've had some terrific opportunities in the attack. What's something that you're going to say to your team going into halftime in terms of what they can do better in the second half?
Yeah, well, one thing I think when we win the ball, when we won the ball in our attacking half and their back four is spread out, I think that's when we can really go at them and look for through balls. But a lot of times we've been winning the ball in the midfield and their back four is together and we're still trying to force it. And I think we got to do a little better job of keeping the ball in their end if it's not on. You know, that was one of the things we said beforehand. We got to make good decisions if it's on to counter, but if it's not on, we got to keep it. And I think we're giving it way too easy, and then we're spread out, and so it's easier for them to come down and get in our end. So hopefully we can make a little better decisions in our attacking end. I think that'll be a big key that we'll talk about this halftime.
Thanks, Coach, for your time. Good luck there in the second half.
Thank you.
So again, probably had his halftime speech ready, as he had a couple of good ones in the road games where they came back and scored some early goals after being down, but now really has a burst of momentum and energy in that locker room right now. And Maryland, the exact opposite. You fight, as you said, for 44 minutes, 40 seconds to give up a goal like that in an individual effort.
Yeah, and I think when we're looking at Virginia, they're going to talk about the fact that they have to be a little bit smarter in their decision-making, not forcing it, but really doing a lot of the same things. And I think in the back, they've got to just talk to their team about being aware of not making the little mistakes and not giving Brock the ball. You know, with Maryland, I think he might go in there and raise a little cane, just talking to him about how they've played so well to let it go at that point. And at the same time, he's got to be able to boost them up and focus on some of the strengths that they've had, because he's got another 45 minutes to play, and you can't make what's already a tough thing on him harder.
We've got 45 minutes coming your way. 45 minutes in the books as Virginia goes in the locker room with a 1-0 lead over Maryland. Stay with us. Plenty more to come.
Hey, game guy here. I've been all over Virginia this past year, playing thousands of games with a bunch of amazing people. Now it's your chance to get in on this year's games. Go to my Facebook page, that's Game Guy, and send me your crazy games. I'm gonna pick the best ones, and we may come over to your place and film a TV spot with you and your friends playing it. And hey, make it interesting. Aww.
Hey, Miss C. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. I just don't want you boys to be late for your big game. Okay, have fun. I'll be right here after the game.
Continental Tire, the official tire of Major League Soccer.
Each year, the NSCAA puts over 7,000 coaches through our coaching education program. Youth, high school, and college coaches at all levels participate in the diploma courses. Join your peers and get educated. Better coaching, better players, better game. NSCAA Coaching Academy. Improving soccer, one coach at a time. Register today at nscaa.com/education.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-woo!
Ronnie, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico? I'd say happier than a camel on Wednesday.
Hump day!
Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
This broadcast of this match is authorized by the National Soccer Coaches Association of America. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of any image, sound, account, or description without the express written permission of the NSCAA is strictly prohibited. Tonight's match was produced for the NSCAA by Turbo Sports Group. And a lot more upcoming matches coming. The next NSCAA TV broadcast, October 1st. Got the rankings show, fantastic information that anything going on with college soccer, you'll find on the weekly highlight show. Then on the 5th, Ashford versus Great Falls, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Quincy University versus Rockhurst at 3:30 on the 6th. And then Tulsa and New Mexico, Wednesday, October 9th. And you can catch that 8 p.m. all on nscaatv.com. Let's take a look at the rankings. The National Soccer Coaches Association of America, and again, Virginia now 10-0, previous number 1. They're still number 1, and now they've got the lead.
Yeah, and we look at the usual suspects. Stanford's having a fantastic year. They had a great win against Santa Clara earlier in the week. Florida State is also doing tremendous. And then you look at the bottom, Dave Nolan at Georgetown. He's done just a terrific job with that team. They've got a couple of cheeky little players that have carried them, and they're just really strong down the center. And right now they're going into conference play, which isn't the strongest. So I think we'll look to see them stay at the top of the rankings for the next few weeks at least.
As Georgetown rounds out the top 10. Rankings are brought to you by Continental Tire, innovative technology, driving confidence. Find out more at continentaltire.com. Virginia, again, all smiles in that locker room after a hard-fought 44 minutes, but then the super sub, Brittany Radcliffe, steals it, individual effort the entire way as she picks up her 7th goal of the season. 7 goals from a sub is something special, and really just the individual effort that she had to go forward as we will take a look at that goal.
You know, we look at the Virginia team is so strong, but when they're able to go to the bench, you know, they're replacing kids, but the kids that are replacing the starters are all really kids that could be starting at other programs in the country and other top 25 and even top 10 programs. So I think you've got to talk about the depth of the Cavaliers and who they have coming in, and I think that's key to their strength this year.
And sometimes you talk about the players as we look at some of the highlights from the first half.
And Gloria Douglas, she got subbed out early on for Brittany Radcliffe, but very dangerous finding that open ball on the back post. We saw a number of opportunities that she had, and then here we have Mackenzie Doniak just not able to get on the end of it, but a great run. Her movement is incredible. And then on the backside, we've got Brock, who's had a number of opportunities as well, just hasn't really had support. So once again, the corner kicks have been very dangerous. I'm sure John Morgan's going to have to talk to his team some about finding that player, as Gloria Douglas always sort of just backs out of the play on those corners. And here again, Doniak to Douglas, just that one little touch to put it on her right foot. Maybe she should have struck that earlier with her left, would have had a better opportunity, but we just keep seeing those corner kicks because they have had a ton of opportunities.
My favorite restaurant is...
A couple of counterattacks. We saw the one nice save that Beanlands had where she deflected it, then went off the post. 4 corners in the first half, Virginia. Here, another good look at the counterattack going forward. The shooting was not very good for Virginia in the first 45 minutes.
No, and I'm sure that's something that Coach Swanson's going to talk to them about because they have had a number of wide open opportunities that they've put wide, they've put over, or it's been deflected because they took too much time. And here's Brock, you know, great effort on her part. I wish she would have sealed that player off a little bit more. And then once again, Radcliffe comes in and is able to have those opportunities. And now here we're going to see she's able to break through, a little poor defending on Gibbons, and just chips it over with her left. A great shot. You know, we see Beanlands in the background so upset because she knows that there was only 22 seconds on the clock when that happened.
Yeah, you talk about managing a game. I think you said it moments before. Maryland has to be smart here in the last minute. You know, the running clock, a lot easier to manage that with the throw-ins, maybe a foul or something like that, but just a mistake you can't have to allow that run. But you give the credit to Brittany Radcliffe. You saw the change in direction, the change in speed, and the finish was there. The shooting was not very good through the first 44 minutes, but it will go in the books as a goal, and did a fantastic job of finding that near post where everyone thought she'd probably go on the far post, but tucked it away with the left foot to give the Virginia Cavaliers the 1-goal lead. Stay with us. We've got plenty more coming your way.
Hey, Game Guy here. I've been all over Virginia this past year, playing thousands of games with a bunch of amazing people. Now it's your chance to get in on this year's games. Go to my Facebook page, that's Game Guy, and send me your crazy games. I'm going to pick the best ones, and we may come over to your place and film a TV spot with you and your friends playing it. And hey, make it interesting. Oh.
Continental Tire, the official tire of Major League Soccer.
Tra-la-la, tra-la, tra-la.
We're adding a second distribution center. So instead of moving it, we're putting every floor in every store on sale at Lumber Liquidators' first ever warehouse clearance sale. Get 20% off all laminate flooring. Pre-finished solid hardwood up to 55% less than big box stores. All bamboo is on sale from $139 a square foot with new deals added daily. Plus, get 16 months special financing. Warehouse clearance sale is going on now. Get to your local Lumber Liquidators today.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Ronnie, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico? I'd say happier than a camel on Wednesday.
Hump day!
Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Welcome back to Charlottesville, Virginia, the NSCAA Game of the Week between the #1 ranked Virginia Cavaliers and the Maryland Terrapins in what looked to be a scoreless first half. All changed in the last 30 seconds as Brittany Radcliffe went on a 40-yard run by herself to get the lone goal of the game as Virginia's up 1-0. Now joined by Maryland Terrapins head coach John Morgan. Coach, your team fought for 44 minutes, then to give up the goal. No, that's frustrating, but how'd you pick them up? What'd you tell them at half?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was definitely a frustrating moment there for us, but you know, we actually got some good leadership in the locker room between Megan Gibbons and Haley Brock, and just convincing this group that we're going to get one. I think we've been really dangerous when we've looked for our second runner up top, and I think we can continue to do that. They're having a little difficult time dealing with our pace up top, so you know, we're just going to keep pressing. Hopefully we can find that ball, and you know, Haley's been in 2 times already. She probably should have 2 goals right now, so I think if we can keep doing some of those things, we you know, we'll give ourselves another opportunity for a goal and tie this thing up.
Coach, we talked about details and your back line, just being smart, not making mistakes. On defense, though, what did you say to them in terms of dealing with the runs that the Cavaliers have been making and marking up some?
Well, there's 2 things. It's initially winning the 50-50 ball and giving ourselves a chance to clean up the second one. We haven't done a great job of that because they've been able to win those and they've been able to get some territory on us. So we got to be a little better there. Secondly, you know, we have to bump the runners. You know, we have to disrupt those runs. We know that they want to find the seams. We know that they want to play Doniak and Radcliffe and those kids either over the top or through the seam. So if we can just bump, be a little bit more disciplined there, and then pinch underneath the pressuring defender, I think we can be okay. We've done a great job at it. We just got to be a little better. I think it starts with the 50-50 balls.
Thanks, Coach, for your time. Appreciate it. Good luck in the second half.
Okay, thank you.
Well, you have to like what he says there. I mean, you could be very frustrated. He could have said, I went in and laid into my team, but quite the contrary. He said, you know, really showed the leadership we had. A couple players picking the rest of the group up. You need that. You need that in the locker room. That's, as you mentioned, a situation where you probably don't need to go and yell, right? I mean, it's obvious the frustration that's there, and he's optimistic. Talked about the opportunities that Brock had, the 2 breaks, her speed that can get by to maybe make something happen here.
And Maryland, you know, started out the season ranked higher than 22. They've dropped a little, but you also have to recognize them. They're playing the #1 team in the country. So, you know, even though you don't like how you went down that goal, you still are thankful that you're only down a goal and your team's had those opportunities. And so I think he took a great approach, and I love the fact that Haley Brock and Megan Gibbons are being more vocal leaders for that team, because it is still a young team and they need that support.
Second half is underway here in Charlottesville. Nice crowd on hand. Steve Bell and Sari Rose, the NSCAA Game of the Week, and Maryland is on their heels again as Virginia is attacking. Roll back, could be another one. And this is deflected out for a 5th corner of the game. And you see that speed where Virginia wastes no time going forward.
And they're so good at knocking the ball, and they have such movement that there's always a pass to be made.
Comeback win they had against Duke. They came out early. And
I'd like to see somebody float out with Gloria Douglas a little, because she's been so effective getting the ball. It would be great as she kind of sneaks out that backside for somebody to maybe move with her.
Puts it up in the air. Maryland is able to clear it away. Colaprico, another good touch there. Early cross, almost behind. Douglas was there. Here is Douglas, the one touch. Virginia looking to double the lead. It's been all Virginia here since the second half kickoff. Norbo, Douglas. Alexis Schaffer thought about a long-range shot there, the first half sub who starts the second half on the right midfield flank. Which she gave a spark to the team as well when she came in, was moving, was very involved. Well, you heard from both coaches. What do you think it's going to take for Maryland to put that goal behind him and get past this Virginia defense? They mentioned the speed and getting Brock involved. What else do you think they need to do?
Well, I think part of it is you know, that ability to find the open spaces. Molly Menschel gets forward a lot, that number 13 on the left side. Are they able to find the spaces that they're leaving and play that runner into it? So I think that's going to be key for them. And part of it is they spend a lot of time defending, that when they actually have the ball, do they have the ability to run and check into space and show for it?
Nice step up from Pratt, out to Barger.
We've seen a lot of the attack be Haley Brock. We've seen it be one player, and we really need to see them get numbers forward a little bit faster.
After the play, Brock went into, looked like Emily Sonnet that went down. First foul of the second half. John Stewart said John Morgan mentioned the 50-50 balls and the challenges that needed his team to be a little bit more aggressive. I thought they were actually battled quite a bit and they're playing scrappy there, but he's looking for some more of winning the loose 50-50 balls.
And we've seen Brian be pretty effective in the midfield, winning those balls.
Ashley Spivey with lots of real estate in front, chased by two defenders. Still Spivey. On the left, there's the speed to Brock. Brock will win a offside. Spivey maybe waited a little bit too long on that pass. Brock didn't time a run and went in the offside position.
Yeah, and UVA did a good job of stalling, letting them get some pressure from behind, so made it a little more difficult. We saw Riley Barger was starting to inch her way forward on the other side, but Brock was really one of the main options there.
Megan Gibbons plays it forward, another offside. That time it was just a little bit of laziness from Spivey getting back from her run. This one over the top. Flag is down on this one. Schaffer. Back to Steiff. Douglas is there. Douglas wins it. Header just wide. How about the hops from Douglas there? Two defenders in front, wins that battle in the air. Low driven header just wide of the target.
And we see she's been so dangerous on that backside, being able to get open and working hard. They get the ball across, and she's just able to get on the end of it. She's got some pressure, but was able to sneak in front, and a great opportunity.
Great attack. You see the way she sidestepped one defender and then out-jumped the other one. Schaffer double team. Oh, good decision. It was there, just couldn't complete the pass, but that's what you want from an outside midfielder. Not just going to kick the ball or cross it and hope. Picked her head up and saw the run from Doniak, but just couldn't get it to her. Nice spacing now from Virginia, finding the open player as Douglas runs through. Pratt defending. Strength on the ball.
We're starting to, we see that a lot. You see, you've got one of the forwards making a run to the ball, the other forwards cutting across, and then Morgan Bryan's coming into the attack. And so Maryland's really got to be aware of just tracking those players and, like John said, getting a body on them so they're not making those runs freely.
Not the best decision there from Menchel. Thought about the 30-yard shot on the left, maybe had some other opportunities, and maybe a decision to get it wide would have been better served there.
And Menchel's another kid. She's only had 11 goals in her career, but she's had a number of game winners for him. I mean, I think 7 of those 11 have been game winners, and 3 of them were this season.
Yeah, from a left back, those are some solid numbers. When you've scored 11 goals and 7 are game winners, that's some clutch play from your left back. Virginia with a break. Through ball. Doniak gives chase. Nice effort to keep possession. Steiff. Schaffer. Douglas can't get it, but still Virginia in possession. Morgan Steiff, the senior again. Thinks about a one-on-one. Schaffer. And Rochelle Beamlands is going to boost her save stats today, and a lot of them are really just catching the ball hit right at her. Although as the all-time save leader at Wake Forest, you could probably appreciate some of those. You got to take the easy ones with the hard ones, right?
I was fortunate or unfortunate enough at Wake to be there when the program started, so they had a lot more shots back then than they do now that they're a top 10, top 15 team. So it's harder to chase when you're not having as many opportunities.
Flag stays down. There's a high challenge there, but referee has done a nice job of letting the advantage play on. Douglas. Now around Pratt, still trying to keep it. They're letting them play a little bit here. Nice little battle. Out for the Maryland throw-in. Natasha Natone-Kuo comes back in for Lauren Berman.
And we see that John Morgan's moved Ashley Spivey into the midfield, trying to see if she can get the ball more at her feet and create opportunities for them.
Registration for the 2014 NSCAA Convention is now open. Join 10,000 of your coaching peers for soccer's biggest party this January as Virginia looks to double their lead right in front. Still Douglas. The ball is loose and then cleared away by Pratt. Convention January 15th to the 19th in Philadelphia. We guarantee that you'll learn something new from the world's best clinicians and gain new connections by attending one of the many networking socials. You can even get your coaching diplomas during the week. Visit nsca.com/convention for all event details, and truly the place you need to be for all things soccer. Doniak got around the player, but then forgot the ball on the turn. And crowd doesn't like it as Shannon Collins is knocked to the ground. But maybe a little chippier here in the second half. The crowd is urging on some more fouls, but I really like the way he's letting them play. There's been some tough play, but I think it's a well-called game so far.
And you see sometimes in the women's game Little offsides call there. You see sometimes in the women's game that the ref is more apt to call fouls, where in the men's game they wouldn't call them. But, you know, nowadays women's soccer players are told, you know, hey, we got to do a little shirt pull, we got to have a hand on the hip. You know, they're a little more aggressive, and it's part of the gamesmanship, not necessarily having to call everything. So I like that he's letting them play some more.
The lead offside on that one is Brock had made the run. This one is out for Virginia throw-in. Quick throw, and I like the decision there. As Doniak is open on the left, gets it in front. That's just heads-up soccer there. You see so many players go out to take the throw-in and wait and wait and wait. Quick throw, and now a quick break for Maryland. In front, still loose. Brock on the right, chips it off the bar.
Great effort by Haley Brock as the Cavaliers closed in on her to get that shot off. And we see just a great effort. Ball comes in. It's a tough ball to handle, but she's able to recover and just stay with it. Good little cut and great opportunity. And now we're going the other way for the Cavaliers.
Game has opened up. Douglas on the far side slows it down. So we've had two off the woodwork here, as Virginia had one saved and off the post. And then Brock hits the crossbar on their best opportunity of the game. Into the area, and this one will go out of play. Yeah, John Morgan told us at halftime, you know, Haley Brock had made those two runs, could have been 2 goals. This is one where you look afterwards, and if this result holds up, you look at those plays by Brock, the one off the crossbar, and despite maybe the control and domination from Virginia and the give and goes and the play in the middle third of the field, had Maryland converted some of these, it'd be a different score right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing you've got to take about it. You know, the ACC is always up for grabs. You know, it changes who's number one. You might be number one in the country, but then all of a sudden you drop 2 games in the ACC and you end up not even winning your conference. And so I think it's still early enough in ACC play that he's going to want to try and build on this. Win, lose, what have you. He's got to really take the things that they did well and be able to make sure they're prepared for the next game with that.
Annie Stenlagi checks back into the game, as does Kristen McNabb. Stenlagi playing that defensive midfield position, the transfer from Michigan State, the senior.
And she was a center back for Michigan State for the first 3 years of her career. So, you know, Steve Swanson came in. He had some solid center backs. He had a lot of age in the back already and felt that she would work best for him, and he'd be able to make her more of a playmaker as being that holding mid.
Nice play by Sonnet there to take that one down, as Maryland looking to get behind the defense. Crowds like the hard play here in a break. More good defending, and he's going to let them play that one as well.
And a good job by Nelson to use her body, you know, legally to get in the way of the runner. And, you know, she's worked really hard for them. Erica Nelson's a sophomore. She was New Mexico Player of the Year. Has done well for John Morgan.
Kate Norbo whistled for the foul.
He actually just said play on.
I think they're.
So technically, wouldn't that be
been a handball?
handball?
Yeah. Play on or pick it up and restart it, either one. Just
You
giving them the
choose.
option, yeah.
You choose.
That's what you mean by letting them play, letting them make their own decisions. Well, here they go. 2 on 4. Great through ball. Virginia, the cutback. Still there. Doniak.
And Fickner's done a good job with Morgan Bryan up to this point, but you see how she just lets her roam free. That's where John Morgan was saying, as she turns, she's got to turn and put a shoulder into her, because Morgan Bryan is so good on the ball. And if you give her room, she can move her body, she can move the ball, she's going to get past you.
Morgan Bryan, again, I'm really surprised she only has 2 assists on the season. She's been setting the table a couple times now with with cutbacks and with nice passes. And I'm so surprised she's got 2 assists because she doesn't. She's got 8 assists. Excuse me, Morgan Bryant with 7 goals and 8 assists, 2 assists recently. And that makes much more sense when you see her passing ability as Douglas checks out. Bryant leads the team with assists with 8. Doniak on possession. Norbo. Still Virginia. Long range shot, can't find the target. Out of play. Virginia still holds that 1-0 lead. Sun has dipped behind some clouds here, a little bit windier, but still a great day for soccer. Cut back now. This is out to Stith. Oh, time to turn in the area. A quick cross, and this is right in front. Here's our goal scorer. And this one goes back to Rochelle Beanlands in the nets. This one fan desperately is trying to start a chant, and fortunately he is all alone with that one.
You do have to like the atmosphere here, though, at Klockner Stadium. I mean, you look across, and people have their blankets out. They're chilling on the hill, camping out, and yet the stadium itself is still full. We've got the band here. Definitely a great environment for a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, great place to play. I know you've played here a couple times, as have I, and that grassy section across the field can get very, very full. It's a great place to watch soccer. Beautiful stadium as well, the width, the grass. After Virginia had their road trip with a couple games on the turf, I'm sure they are glad to be home here at Klockner.
And with the ACC expanding, you now have all those northern schools. You know, BC's turf, Pitt's got some new turf, but you're still playing up north. It's still turf, and so it's definitely used to something that the players have to get used to, and then transitioning back and forth between it.
Good possession from the Cavaliers, swinging it wide. Steinlagi. Stith. Step over. Still Virginia with possession. About 25 and a half to play. Colaprico looked like it might have hit the hand. Flag stays down. Ball still loose as Radcliffe jumps over it. Great shot by Colaprico, turning around. Maybe a good no call as the hand was down. Maryland trying to regroup again. Have played the Cavaliers very well with the exception of the one breakdown with about 40 seconds to go in the first half, which is our only score of the game. And this one goes out for a corner, and after this corner kick, we will be joined by a former Cavalier to get her take on the game as Maryland is set to take their first corner of the second half. And Maryland has not looked entirely dangerous in the run of play, so let's see if they can do better on this corner. As we have another sub checking in for the Terps. Doesn't come in, goes out for a quick, and they'll have another corner.
You know, right now Maryland doesn't have Haley Brock in the game, so they lack a little bit of the height. Spivey's in there, though, and Nelson's in there. They're keeping Sade Pratt back, just probably because from a fatigue standpoint, you're not getting her up and then back, because right now they do have 8 in the box.
Much better corner line drive, back post, and that goes out for a goal kick. Joined by a former Virginia Cavalier, someone who played a lot of games here, Caroline Miller, the second-ranked leading scorer for the Virginia team, all-time, 45 goals. What do you make of the game so far?
I think the girls are playing great. You know, they're playing their game. They're moving the ball around, getting it wide, getting crosses in, and getting a lot of good opportunities, and I think they're playing really well.
Both you and Julia Roberts and 5 other Cavaliers played for the Washington Spirit this summer. How do you feel your time with Coach Swanson and with the Cavaliers prepared you for the professional game?
I mean, he's a great coach, and I think just we built a lot of chemistry. A bunch of us got to play together here, and so just transitioning into the pros, I mean, we just knew each other, and that was really a benefit.
We'll put you on the spot here. 45 goals. Some people talking before the game about some of the better ones you had over your career. Give us 2 or 3 that stand out of your best collegiate goals.
I would have to say definitely my first UNC goal when we beat them for the first time in school history.
Anytime you beat UNC, it's got to be a great goal.
Exactly, in double overtime. And then I guess actually beating them last year in the ACC tournament was definitely one of my other favorites.
Looking at the professional league this summer, I know you were injured and your season was cut a little bit short. You know, how did you enjoy it? What do you think moving forward, some of the great things are going to be about it, and what was your impression of the time you had with the team?
I mean, I had a great time with the team. It was not fun getting hurt, but you know, I learned a lot from the older girls, and just being hurt, I could kind of step back and look at the environment in general, and I think that was really nice, so that when I get into it this year, it'll be easier transition.
Brittany Radcliffe with another breakaway type thing. Probably could have been a red card there, as she was the only player back. Goes in the books with a yellow card. Probably used to a lot of fouls that you would get like that, breaking past defenders and one-on-one on goal taken down. So first yellow card of the game. We talked about the facilities here. Looking back at your career, is a lot of prospective players playing in high school now, and they look at different places to play. Obviously, you've got Virginia's the #1 team in the country, but talk about the facilities here, Klockner Stadium, and everything that the UVA has to offer.
Oh my God, this is definitely, by far, in my opinion, the best field in the country to play on. Nothing gives you a rush more than playing on Klockner under the lights, but just, I mean, it's just so well taken care of, and the facilities are so nice. You can't ask for better.
Free kick on target, but right to the hands of Beanlands. Well, last question for you again. Thanks for stopping by. What do you need to see more of for Virginia? Give us your critique of the first 50 minutes of this game and how they're playing, what they need to do better.
I mean, honestly, I think they've been playing great. I think they're getting into a little bit of just kicking it right now, trying to keep up with the Terps, just kicking it. So just settling it down, getting back to their game, and continuing to get chances.
Thanks again so much for your time. Appreciate you stopping by. 45 career goals, second all-time leading scorer for the Virginia Cavaliers. And she steps aside, and one of her teammates is set to check in. Julia Roberts, who was on that team that won the ACC championship last year. Julia, thanks for stopping by. Thoughts on the game so far?
I think it's been a great game so far. Pretty even match. We had a couple of close chances in the first half, but the Terps had a few good looks too. I'm really proud of the girls. They matched the Terps' intensity early on. They didn't get rattled, and now I think they're definitely now just sticking to their game plan, moving it around, sharing the ball, getting some good looks, and I think it's been a great game this afternoon.
You played for Steve Swanson, picked up his 300th career win, nearing the 200 career win mark here at Virginia. Describe what it was like playing for him and the type of coach he was.
Oh, he was a great coach. He was very involved. Wanted to make sure that we improved individually, but that we grew as a team as the season went on. And I think you can see this year they have all the aspects to be a national championship team, and they've just really come together so far. Even when they're challenged, like these past few games against Duke and BC, they've shown great resiliency and ability to come back. And I think that's just an attitude that Coach Swanson has really instilled in the entire program.
And you've had a chance to play, in the summers with teams, and now this summer you got the opportunity to play professionally with the Spirit. What are some things, nowadays it's an option for young players, what are some things you would tell young players out there that, if they wanted to play professionally, what do you think they need to do to be successful?
Just believe that you can do it. You can always put in that hard work off the field on your own. You can go to your club practices, your college practices, but it's that extra effort that you put in that I think separates players at the final stage. but just being able to have a league and just something to aspire to, that there's something after college ball, that you're going to push the limits, you're going to do what's best for your team, and just it's a great opportunity for girls to see that they can play at that next level, just like the men.
When you talk about the next level, obviously, again, UVA #1 ranked team in the country. But what was your fondest memories? What did you enjoy the most about attending Virginia?
My favorite soccer moments definitely were, like Caroline said, that was a great opportunity right there. Was getting that winning goal in double overtime against UNC. You know, making history for the program was really something I'll always remember. And then last year winning an ACC championship was just unbelievable. We peaked at the right time during the season when we were playing our best soccer. I don't think at that time anybody could beat us. So it was great to do that as a team. We had come so far, and just to achieve that with the girls that you spend every day working so hard with, it was a great feeling.
Well, you and Caroline were sort of the leaders of the team last year. You know, one of the things that's been elusive for UVA has been that Final Four. What do you think you put in play last year and this team's carried on that's going to be the difference maker to get them to that College Cup?
I think it's just not losing sight of your final goal and just being able to peak at the right time. I think the ACC tournament's a great challenge, and it's great for preparation because you always see so many ACC teams in the Elite Eight, Final Four. So when you're used to playing that competition, just taking that momentum and going into the tournament with that and keeping your standards of play really high.
We appreciate your time stopping by and cheering on the Cavaliers. Good luck to you with the Washington Spirit.
Thanks for having me.
Great when you see the former players come back and support, and again, what they've built and helped build with this team and trying to continue with that momentum, getting to that next stage and that next level of the Final Four.
And they're playing right now with Lori Lindsay, who is another incredible Cavalier player, and she's a player that really benefited from having a league. You know, I think her, Becky Sauerbrunn, those types of players did well in college, but were national team players and then sort of fell off a little. But the opportunity to go and play in a professional league gave them the ability to keep training and to keep being seen by the national teams. And now you see them a part of our full national team again. And so it is so important that we have the professional league and that clubs get out there and support it with attendance and getting kids to the games.
Youth clubs and players want to be noticed by the top college programs, and the NSCAA can help. Through its partnership with Elite Tournaments, the NSCAA College Showcase connects you with college coaches so you can show off your talents. Club players and college coaches can find out more information at nscaa.com/events. One goal scored, 2 shots off the post, 1 for each side, as the #1 ranked team in the country. Virginia Cavaliers are trying to extend their win streak to 11. This one right in front, easily handled by Beanlands.
It's a good save and a nice quick transition to Megan Gibbons. We haven't seen her get into the attack much, but she is somebody that's been dangerous for them.
Since Haley Brock shot off the crossbar, they have surrounded her up top. Always 2 defenders. Brock's on the ball there, looking for the flick. Solid performances so far in this game from Morgan Bryan and from Danielle Colaprico, 2, for my money, best players out there for Virginia, have been solid, and look for more of them. Again, you can't forget about Brittany Radcliffe, the run she's had, the lone goal of the game, and then a couple more runs getting forward.
And Doniak, who, you know, once again has had opportunities. I just don't think she's necessarily taken advantage of those shots and really had good shots. She's definitely put herself into a position. She's fought, her movement, everything that you were expecting. We just haven't seen her necessarily place the ball when she's had the opportunity to finish.
Norbo out. Schaffer back in, which has been a spark.
And you look at the team that Virginia has out there right now, and they are not satisfied with one goal. They've put Schaffer back in, who's kind of their nasty little, will just go to goal no matter what. They've still got Doniak up top. They kept Radcliffe in. And so I think they're definitely not satisfied right now and are going to keep pushing.
Okay. Maryland's dropping back. Shannon Collins heads that one away. Again, the Maryland back line has been solid. They really have played well in this game, with the exception of the breakdown late in the game. And it wasn't just their back line that broke down. That was maybe a mental letdown from the whole side with 20 seconds to go. Schaffer. Stith.
See their composure on the ball. They have numbers supporting.
Good cut back. Oh, just enough from Pratt, or that would have been an easy finish.
Good support there by Spivey to get back in and help.
The touch, to cut back, and again, swarming defense from Maryland. You get away from one, the second one's going to be there. It's Collins, Pratt, Gibbons, and Nelson.
Somebody we haven't mentioned that much, but she's doing a good job kind of helping to track Brian, is in the middle, that Sarah Fickner, number 2. She's a kid who's been coming off an injury. This is probably the most minutes she's played for John Morgan's team right now. She's really been doing a good job of trying to keep a body on Brian and organizing that center midfield position.
Yeah, only her 5th start of the season, and she has looked solid. And the unsung heroes doing a lot of the work. Not getting noticed as much.
No. She had a, it's called the Liz Frank injury. And so they've actually fused her foot. So just running and everything. Really, it's taken her 2 years to get back in the game. And she's a kid that played with Colaprico. So when she's healthy, I'm sure we'll see similar tendencies. And she's just getting back in the game, though.
Brock not on the same page that time as Merrick Knudsen. Checked in here in the second half.
And Knudsen's an international player for John Morgan, his only international player on the team. She played on the U20 team for Norway, was the captain of their U17 national team.
Barger, one-timer over the net.
I think now when we get 12 minutes into it, Maryland's got to start thinking about, okay, we're down a goal. What are we going to do to have a greater impact? How are we going to get a little spark, whether it's putting in somebody off the bench? They've got Brock back up top. Looks like Spivey's going back up top. You know, now instead of possessing, they really need to look to try and force things and find those players up top a little more. Not necessarily force, but at least look that way instead of pass, 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 which they get into the habit of sometimes.
Douglas back in for Radcliffe, and I don't think Radcliffe has a slow speed at all. Even subbing out, she was at full sprint, and I watched her go down the bench. She sprinted down the bench. She has got some energy, and that's exactly what it was needed for her run and score to make it a 1-0 goal game here. Again, that goal coming with about 22 seconds left in the first half. I don't think her night is over just yet. Could see her getting back in with that speed, but we will see. Maryland with some room now. Long range shot. No, not too far off. Nice round of applause as Morgan Stith comes out. Look at the play that Stith had in the back. She was another solid one-on-one defender, kept possession as Maryland made those overlapping runs getting forward. Stith was there to to break it up quite a bit.
And she's very good at it kind of becoming an extra forward for the team. They had her at center back the first couple of years she was here and moved her to the outside back because she is so dynamic and likes to go get forward. And so they were trying to play with her strengths and then also prepare her for next year as well, where she'd probably most likely be more of an outside back than a center back if she's going to play professionally anywhere.
Barger now with her second shot in about 5 minutes. Having a go as looked like Brock took a little bit of a knock on that back pass. Still holding the back of her head there as Virginia starts to unload and get some more subs in the game as Amber Fry is back in. She comes in for Annie Steinlage. Douglas. Unselfish to Schaffer. Give back to Douglas. Playing a little keep away there. It started out as a 2-on-2, no shot taken. They have been unselfish at times, and maybe when they are having the shot, probably they'll look back at this as not their best shooting performance of the season so far, as they've had their looks and only one goal.
No, but I mean, you love the fact that they are so skilled in their ability to ping the ball in a 5-by-5 yard box, using different surfaces, being able to move to get open. I mean, it's definitely a beautiful game that they play in that final third.
Virginia with possession and the lead with just over 8 to go. Colaprico. A no-look pass there, not on the same page, however.
And Colaprico's kind of dropped in now that Steinlage's out. She's kind of being that holding setter midfielder, a little bit more skilled maybe than Steinlage. Steinlage's more of a ball winner, although she just won the ball right there.
She did, and not only she win it, yeah. Took it off the punt and put it exactly. I don't know if she's had a turnover in the game, which as a midfielder, keeping possession is critical, and the majority of her touches have been solid. She might have had one in the first half, but just keeps possession for her side.
We talked a little bit about Maryland trying to keep it 0-0 when they went into the half, and how that little mental breakdown in the last 20 seconds really hurt them. And I think we're getting to that point again now. Looking forward, Maryland, I mean, they've definitely struggled a little bit here, but once again, they're playing the #1 team in the country, and so they still are a team, even with this loss, that could be in the top 25 or at least in that edge. So now you think about the ACC tournament, you think about the NCAA tournament. They've got to start to be better in those final minutes of keeping possession and keeping the ball out of the back of the net.
Corey Ryan checks on, as does Brittany Radcliffe, the goal scorer. Thought her might not be over. No, not yet.
We haven't really mentioned Ashley Spivey, and once again, Haley Brock is the one that puts the ball in the back of the net, but Spivey is really the one that kind of makes a lot of things happen, and she's been hidden. Up top she wasn't really getting the ball, dropped her into the midfield, wasn't really able to get the ball, especially when you've got Bryan and Colaprico and Steinlage in there. So John's really got to start to think about where he's going to put her moving forward, and what's going to be the best place for her so that she can get her touches.
And does Maryland gain confidence from this game? Again, you look on paper, you look at the rankings, you look at maybe the numbers so far and where Maryland comes in, and you also look at the fact that they hit the post, they had opportunities. Does Maryland leave with more confidence than coming in? And does Virginia maybe think that there's a little crack if these two teams play each other?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think once again it's heartbreaking to let up that goal in 22 seconds. But if that's the only goal that you let up, and you just play the #1 team in the country that's leading the nation in scoring and averages 3.6 goals a game, and you've held them to 1
at home.
Yeah, at home in front of a big crowd. I mean, clearly that's something that John should be able to build on moving forward. You know, at the same time, I don't think you're going to beat up UVA, you know, in terms of what they weren't able to do, because they did have opportunities, you know, and we've said it multiple times, but the biggest thing is just working on that finishing, not just shooting, but finishing and aiming. They clearly know how to possess. They're able to get open. They've had opportunities.
And that's if this scoreline remains. You know, Maryland could just as easily do what Virginia did and sneak one out here at the end. Or Virginia can turn it on and put a couple more in. So still about 4.5 to go. Look at that little touch in right of the area. Colaprico just picked it up, lifted it over.
And she's crafty. Like I said, we've talked about so many other players on the team that have the goals, that have that are heralded, but she's one of those ones not as well known, but certainly a huge player for them.
Virginia's schedule will keep them here at Klockner as they'll take on Clemson and Notre Dame. And Maryland will continue ACC play as well, as they will go back home and take on NC State. And a little team from North Carolina on the 6th.
It's one of those things where most teams want to have a tough non-conference schedule early on, because that's where you build your RPI. That's where you're challenging yourself, you know, finding out your weaknesses. But then you get into the conference schedule and you're playing anywhere from, you know, 4 to 7 or 8 teams that are ranked in the top 25.
Look at this. Maryland, a half touch away from tying it up there. The ball was flicked and skipped up and caught the hand. Good call. Well, that's what we're talking about. A game that maybe Virginia didn't put away when they could have easily been tied up there, with Maryland making the most of that chance. Bodies going everywhere there. 2 down. Maryland comes out with possession. Looking for Brock.
Talked to John earlier today, and he talked about Gabby Galante, who was a kid who was going to be up top for him and was going to allow Ashley Spivey to be able to drop into the midfield and kind of be another threat for him up top. And her injury has hurt them. He's had to experiment a little with different things. And so once again, this is a good opportunity for them.
Good run by Pratt. As Maryland desperately trying to tie this one up, pushing forward. As I say that, they still have 4 in the back, though.
Yeah, it's something that they've played a number of different formations. I would think the last 5 minutes he would look to try and push somebody up more, get a little more in the attack.
They have 4 in the back line right now with 1:43 to go, and really no high pressure for Maryland. A sense of urgency now. Collins. Radcliffe with slide tackle to keep possession. She is the goal scorer of record. Her 7th of the season. Douglas can't keep possession. Another nice long run out of the back from Sade Pratt.
But you see, she's making the run, but she doesn't necessarily have people helping to join her.
It doesn't really help when you got the one defender going forward and everyone's watching her. Douglas is going to take this one for a walk, probably the corner flag, and try to keep possession. Out for the throw-in. Yeah, Pratt was really the only one playing with a sense of urgency, I'd say, in the last 2 minutes.
And she's somebody who's been able to get forward, and she's been able to do something for them on the attack.
Maybe one last run for the Terrapins as this one's up to Brock. No foul called. Hard challenge. Barger. Takedown here, and they will stop the clock. So Maryland will have one last opportunity. I bet they don't keep 4 in the back now.
No, I would think they might even throw that keeper up to the half, because right now, what else do you have to lose? Put her up there?
This is when, as a keeper, you're good in the air. You probably should get in the box for this one, as 8 seconds are on the clock. They're going to go with
at least up at the half. So if anything pops out, she can lump it in. Let's see what they have planned.
She's a little hesitant. They can't get Rochelle Beanlands up near midfield, but in any event, they have got just about everyone else in the area. 3-man wall for Virginia. And Maryland has not looked dangerous at all through 89 minutes on restarts. Can they change that right here? An opportunity to tie and send it to overtime. 8 seconds to go. Lofton in the air. Players there for Maryland, loose ball, and this will go out for a corner kick that will not be played back in as Virginia extends their win streak to 11. They're perfect on the season, getting a ACC win here at home against Maryland.
Yeah, and I think, once again, we're looking at it, Maryland's going to walk away and be upset that they lost, but happy that it was just 1-0. UVA is, gets the win, but is going to start to think about, what they can do, and part of that's going to be, getting opportunities like this one where Brittany, she beats the one player, and Megan comes in and just sort of gets there, but kind of just running at her, and it's a great shot. And you see the excitement. That's the excitement you get from a sophomore who's like, hey, I come off the bench and I make the most of my minutes.
And that was actual normal speed. I know that looked quick. That's actually how fast she was going there. That was a great take, individual effort, where maybe the other 10 players in the field were watching the clock.
And we see more of some of the highlights here. Stith able to get it in. Good little turn. And once again, there's just always a UVA player around. They're so good about getting numbers forward. They attack with 5, 6, 7 players. And they're very composed on the ball. And so we see, just their ability in the attacking third to create those opportunities.
Colaprico there, you saw her ability to set the table, move it around as well. Morgan Bryan, fantastic. And then this is where it ended. A last opportunity for Maryland on the penalty, out for the corner. And that is where we stand as UVA goes to 11-0 in the season, 5-0 in ACC. Maryland drops to 6-5, 2-3 in ACC. But as you mentioned, maybe they realize that they can play with the best teams in the country. Game is brought to you by Continental Tire. Continental Tire is the presenting sponsor of College Soccer Night on NSCATV.com. This has been NSCA Game of the Week broadcast. Don't forget about that 2014 NSCA convention. It is a soccer party. All things soccer are there, and registration is open. Join 10,000 of your soccer coaching peers for soccer's biggest party this January 15th through the 19th. It's in Philly. We guarantee you'll learn something new from the world's best clinicians and gain new connections by attending one of the many networking socials. You can even get your coaching diplomas during the week. Visit ncaa.com/convention for all event details. Lots of coaches. Anyone who's anyone is at the convention. And this has been another win for Virginia women's team. Look for them to be #1 in the country next week as well. We appreciate you stopping by. For Sari Rose, I'm Steve Bell. Good night from Charlottesville.